Does more always equal better? Does more technology always make for a better experience? Is it possible that some form of purity is lost between the base and the high-end model? Is the highest level of technology really necessary to achieve the highest levels of satisfaction and fun? Polaris's RZR 1000 Turbo S currently occupies the highest level of their sports side-by-side lineup and includes every bit of technology Polaris engineers have come up with so far. But all of this super high-tech comes at a price, both literal and figurative. Fox 3.0 internal bypass live valve shocks in the full dynamics package, including the 7-inch touchscreen infotainment unit in the dash, rear view camera, Bluetooth audio, LED accent lights. The Turbo S has technology on a level that could rival any high-end automobile. But what about the purity of the ride? What about simply looking forward as the trail unfolds in front of you without the distraction of screens and music and constant adjustments? After all, this is what driving a RZR is all about, isn't it? Responsibilities and distractions that seem to melt away in a blur while you live wide open, if only just for a moment. This is exactly what Polaris's 2019 RZR 1000 Turbo S Velocity is all about. The ride with no distractions. Essentially, the Velocity is just a Turbo S with less stuff. Under the hood is the very same 168 horsepower twin-cylinder power plant mated to Polaris's isolated, extreme performance, true on-demand 4x4 system. 25 inches of usable wheel travel, as Polaris puts it, is damped by an impressive set of manually adjustable Walker-Evans 3.0 Velocity Series shocks, and the whole package rolls on a crazy set of 32-inch ITP Coyote 8-ply tires. At 72 inches wide, this vehicle isn't really intended for the tight woods sections of the East Coast in Canada, though that's not to say it couldn't be used there. It definitely could. But in reality, it's more intended for the wide-open dunes and deserts of the West Coast. Driving the Turbo S Velocity is a bit of an exercise in self-control. To say that this is a fast side-by-side would almost be irresponsible. This side-by-side is beyond fast, and it gets up to speed with an urgency typically reserved for 700-plus horsepower supercars. Strapping yourself into the Velocity reveals some nice touches by Polaris, though I will say the cockpit will feel a little bit too familiar for current XP1K owners for a vehicle that's supposed to have been completely redesigned. Still, the updated 4-point harnesses are a great addition. The seats are comfortable and adjustable. The dash in the Velocity also includes a surprising amount of storage with an under-dash glove box, center-mounted storage box, and a small storage shelf above the passenger grab handle. What's obviously missing from this unit, though, is that beautiful 7-inch touchscreen that comes standard in the full-jam Turbo S version. But the question we've been trying to answer today is, will you actually miss it? And the answer is, once you get rolling, no. The screen is definitely a nice upgrade, there's no question, but there's a certain freedom that comes with focusing on driving your side-by-side and not fiddling with extras. The dash-mounted gauge cluster offers all the info you really need anyway, no matter where you are or what type of riding you're doing. The next question is, will you miss dynamics? Now, I've said many times that in my opinion, dynamics is the most important piece of suspension technology to hit the side-by-side industry in nearly a decade. It's that good. For the average consumer, dynamics offers real-world comfort and performance benefits that, if you're used to having it, will definitely be missed. On the other hand, it also occupies a certain amount of your mind as you focus not just on the ride, but also on the settings and thinking about what the dynamic system is actually doing. My opinion is this: if your options are getting the Velocity without dynamics or not getting one at all, don't even think about it. I drove this unit harder than I've ever driven any side-by-side in the desert, and those Walker 3.0 Velocity shocks did an almost unbelievable job of soaking up anything I could throw at them with high society composure. I set up all 4 shocks with 4 clicks of compression from full soft. With the suspension set this way, I found small bump compliance at low speeds to be quite harsh. This, of course, was not helped in any way by these massive 8-ply tires. But the second speeds increased, this setup was absolutely perfect. I railed huge whoop sections and hit harsh washouts at full throttle and didn't hear the chassis rub the ground even once, let alone feel the suspension even come close to bottoming. This Velocity Package RZR S handles really well. It's ultra predictable in almost any scenario, except maybe the really deep and loose marbles, but the truth is there's almost nothing that would be predictable there. At high speed, it tracks straight, even in the whoops, and it feels settled in the corners where the rear end almost never steps out farther than you expect it to. After putting on big miles in the desert in my RZR Velocity, I got to wondering what, besides dynamics, makes the top-of-the-line Turbo S worth more than this one. The lower half doors and roof that come standard on the S model add tangible value, and these are things that pretty much every Velocity buyer is going to add to their vehicle before they even leave the dealership. If you factor in the value of these two items, the $2,900 difference in price between the S and the Velocity gets cut down to around $2,200 US. Is Dynamics worth that much? My final verdict is simply this. If you can afford it, and if you like having top-shelf technology, go with the Turbo S with the Dynamics package. It's technology that truly does make every ride more comfortable. But the Velocity package will take you to all the same places and gets you all the benefits of the Turbo S platform for less money and with less peripheral stuff to distract you from the pure joy and escape of the ride. Does this mean that underneath it all, the Velocity is actually better than the Turbo S? Of course not. It's all about what you want to get from your riding experience. If a more focused and distraction-free ride is what you're after, the 2019 RZR 1000S Velocity is definitely what you're looking for. Thanks for watching Dirt Tracks TV. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit the like button and leave us a comment. Subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already, and if you want to be notified of future updates, make sure you turn the bell on. Thanks for watching.